From the toll that stress can take on someone famous, to celebrities being deathly afraid of being blacklisted, let's talk about the dark side of Hollywood that no one talks about. There's something sinister going on behind all that glitz and glam, and it looks like the truth about what really happens behind the camera is finally coming out. Do you remember how a few years ago, footage of Wendy Williams losing her balance and collapsing went viral on the internet? Well, the video actually made its way onto meme pages, and the television host's collapse turned into a joke of sorts. Many commented believing that she was just doing it for views and that her collapse was overly theatrical. Now, everyone had something to say about why the Hollywood celebrity collapsed in the middle of her show, but no one had anything positive to say, and very few people offered their well wishes. This might make you think, though, why was there a genuine lack of concern for Wendy? Here's another example. Remember when Austin Butler was rushed to the hospital after the filming for Elvis? When word of the incident spread online, people began making fun of Austin, saying that it was all publicity. The actor was reportedly trembling and shivering when he was taken to the hospital. Again, no one had anything nice to say, and this is where you need to ask yourself something. If this was someone ordinary, would you have reacted the same way? You know you wouldn't, and that's because everyday people are allowed to be stressed to the point of collapsing. But celebrities aren't? Hollywood offers its stars a glamorous life that comes with several media appearances, huge paychecks, and loads of fans. What could they possibly have to stress about? It's this sort of thinking that makes Hollywood celebrities often hide their medical conditions or reveal them only when it's necessary. Because some people on the internet are ruthless when they acknowledge that celebrities experience stress, possibly even more than we realize. There's always the stress of looking picture perfect, and that's taken a toll on many young celebrities in the industry. In 2011, Jane Fonda revealed that she struggled with looking perfect for the cameras, and it was something she'd been struggling with for decades. The news came as a surprise to everyone, because on television, you'd only ever see Jane smiling and waving, and it really did look like she was living an ideal life. She did, however, disclose that leading a life on screen carries with it certain unrealistic expectations, which means that they have to make sure they look their best every single day. So, even though she looked perfect, she was far from feeling that way. Lady Gaga echoed Jane's story just a year later, in 2012. She bravely told the world that she struggled with self-confidence issues for a long time. Even though Gaga had broken into the music scene, with music being blasted over the radio in every part of the world, and with several awards to show for her talent, the musician struggled with fitting in. Gaga revealed that because she didn't look like a female pop star, she was constantly made to feel less than other leading ladies in the music scene, which caused her tremendous stress, and obviously took a toll on her mental and physical health. It's hard to fit in showbiz. Well, it's hard if you don't have someone on the inside. Yeah, let's talk about the rampant nepotism in Hollywood. Dakota Johnson is Melanie Griffith's daughter, and there's a strong possibility that not many of you knew that. Here's the thing, Dakota is a terrific actress, and we got to see her acting chops more than a few times. In Persuasion and How to Be Single, Dakota deserves all the fame, but her rise to stardom underlies a rampant issue in Hollywood, and that's nepotism. You've probably heard of the phrase starving artist at least once. That's a pretty accurate phrase. Actually, there are dozens and dozens of actors and musicians in Hollywood who haven't been able to break into the scene, not for a lack of talent or a lack of trying, but because they don't know the right people. Dakota knew the right person, her mother. Dakota may not be the best example, but when it comes to the extent of the problem of nepotism in Hollywood, you know who is? Lily Rose Depp. In 2023, Lily Rose starred in The Idol alongside The Weeknd, and, well, it was disastrous. She's the daughter of none other than Johnny Depp, also known as one of the most prolific actors of all time. Maybe some casting director thought that good acting ran in her blood, or maybe Johnny made some calls to get his daughter the starring role. Either way, she bagged the role and tanked it. The Idol was panned by critics and dropped after one season, despite having the best directors and writers on board. It all came down to Lily Rose and the fact that she couldn't act. So, yeah, nepotism is rampant in show business, and it's costing production teams millions. That's millions they can afford to spend, you know. After all, Hollywood celebrities spend a lot more to hide their criminal offenses. This might not come as a surprise to anyone, but tons of people in show business have a criminal record. For example, Khloe Kardashian. Now, Everyone knows about the time Caitlyn Jenner drove while impaired and actually killed Kim Howes, an animal rights activist and actress, when Jenner's vehicle rammed into hers. By the way, no charges were brought before Jenner, and the case was ultimately settled for an undisclosed sum in 2016. That whole fiasco caused an outrage on social media, but not many people know that in 2007, another member of the Kardashian-Jenner clan, Khloe Kardashian, was arrested for driving while being intoxicated and sentenced to probation, which she violated, and was then sentenced to 90 days in jail. But no one really remembers Khloe ever spending a day in jail, and that might be because she didn't. That's right. Despite being sentenced, Khloe ended up spending only a few hours locked up before she was released because of overcrowding. It's all too convenient, right? Khloe managed to have her record expunged and no one really talked about it, because technically she didn't serve any real time. Her legal team was top-notch, and that's the great thing about being rich and famous. You can buy your way out of anything. The dark side of Hollywood keeps on getting darker and darker, but buckle up because there's still a super dark secret we haven't talked about yet. Yup, the fact that they're fed a script and have no real views on anything. Here's something that's been talked about for a long time, and that's the concept of blacklisting in Hollywood. You know how a famous person who appears to be at the top of the world all of a sudden disappears from the face of the earth, leaving you to wonder if they were ever there? That is all due to the fact that a small group of powerful individuals dominate the industry and have managed to maintain control over nearly everything and everyone in Hollywood. You know who's a great example of this? Katherine Heigl. There used to be a time when Katherine was one of the most sought-after actresses in Hollywood. She starred in The Ugly Truth, 27 Dresses, and Grey's Anatomy, and was all set to rock the showbiz industry. Fast forward to today, and the only projects we remember of hers are from the early to mid-2000s. So, what happened? Well, Grey's Anatomy happened. To be more specific, Katherine apparently took issue with her character's portrayal on the show, and that irked the creator, Shonda Rhimes. You've probably heard of her. She's one of the most prolific writers and directors in Hollywood. So, when Katherine refused to accept an award for her portrayal of Izzy Stevens, it sent Shonda on a frenzy, and she made sure that Katherine wouldn't last another day in Hollywood. Of course, this is all speculative, because no one besides those two know the truth of what happened. Still, it's not that hard to put two and two together. Blacklisting might just be one of Hollywood's biggest problems. The true sinister side of Hollywood is the fact that you're constantly looking over your shoulder, because one wrong move and you're out for good. Every celebrity is backed by brand endorsements, projects, and so much more. The terms of their contract might not explicitly say, "can't have any views of your own," but it's always heavily implied. As a consequence, Hollywood celebrities tend to think twice, thrice, and even 4 times when they're saying anything. One wrong move and it could have them packing and being left with nothing. Don't believe it? Charlie Sheen went from having a fortune of $100 million down to $10 million because of his long-standing feud with one of Hollywood's top sitcom writers, Chuck Lorre. Likewise, Nicolas Cage went from making $49 million in 2009 down to only having a net worth of $25 million. Several Hollywood celebs have filed for bankruptcy, and it's obvious that it's because they went against the terms of being famous. So, from celebrities being deathly afraid of being blacklisted to the toll that stress can take on someone famous, that was everything about the dark side of Hollywood.